What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Tim Talks, the real estate show where we talk about real estate, life, and a lot of everything else. Ethan, roll the intro. Welcome back to another episode of Tim Talks. I'm excited that you guys are able to join us this week. It is a new episode in kind of like this series of new things we're going to do with this show. We're going to take this show to new heights, new places, new levels of discovery, just newness. We're almost into a new year, man.
New Year's is my favorite holiday.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Just the symbolization of a new year.
Yes.
Is really special.
I love it.
And if you dedicate yourself to doing something in a year, it's really meaningful and it can be dope. It can change your life. So
yeah.
New Year's is dope.
I love that. There's only the second person ever that I've heard say New Year's is their favorite holiday. That's pretty cool.
Like excited. Like it's a new year. All year's ending. Like think of all the stuff you did. Think of all the stuff you're gonna do. Like years are big.
Yeah. I mostly think of the new year in terms of like taxes.
Yeah. That's important too.
That's important too.
I put that on the back burner, man. I got it all set now.
Good.
I'm not trying to even look at it or deal with it. I'm just gonna like say like a little more or a little less paycheck or something. That's all I'm gonna do.
Be gone taxes.
No, it's too much to think about, to try to like juggle like maximizing your tax write-offs and spearheading your business is a tall order.
It's huge.
Like Instagram influencers will make you think that it's your thing you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do everything, but dude, it's exhausting trying to be an expert in multiple different things. It's like
I hired a CPA. I couldn't do it. I was like, you know what? He's charging me $1,000, but they have one of the best accounting firms. And I was like, you know what? Take my $1,000. Yep. And I don't ever want to think about it ever again. He's like, perfect deal.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a huge relief.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I haven't even introduced he's not really even a guest anymore. He's the man.
I'm whatever you want me to be. I'm just Ben.
It's Ben Focus.
Yes, sir.
And I promised our listeners back in the last two episodes, since we so sadly RIP lost Ashley, our co-host, to a new job that she's at, that we were going to be introducing some new things, and the Focus Corner is one of them.
Let's go.
Yes, because Ben is an entrepreneur in the area. He's a pretty big entrepreneur in the area. One of probably the biggest social media presences in Newburgh, because Newburgh is a pretty small town, but he's a huge social media presence in Newburgh.
Thank you.
I think a lot of folks see his posts pop up, and just based off the amount of followers he has, it's pretty obvious that he's pretty active.
Too kind.
Yeah, but it's true. I mean, it's popping up a lot for me.
Yeah.
So anyway, I wanted to bring you on, once a month is kind of what we talked about.
Let's go.
Because we're gonna throw the Focus Corner at people. Like, what your whole thing is focusing and chasing after a goal, chasing after a dream, and I think that's a lot of the people that are listening to this. That's what they want to do. They're chasing after something of their own. They want to hear how you do it, and kind of how, Ethan and I were actually talking, I think this was an episode or two ago, that, everyone's brain works differently, and your brain works in a way that is able to like really frame things differently than a lot of other people.
Heck yeah.
Which is a really good thing.
Yeah. I've noticed I just have some different advantages and disadvantages. It's all it comes down to. Like through my life experiences, it's crafted me to the point where I just have different, like a few different than average like advantages, coupled with some like disadvantages too. So just like everyone, I got my own shortcomings. They're just different. So, but it's been really eye-opening to kind of become an adult the past 10 years and like see that like my angle does have value to people other than me. And some of the value is like surprise to them. Like it's just something about part of my approach lies in the shadows, like very close to accessible, but just out of sight, out of mind for a lot of people. So yeah, I've had that experience tons of times, sort of sharing my methodology with people and it being like a realization moment for them. Because it's been like so close all along, but you just like do it.
Yeah, no, it is great. And that's why I have you here, is because we talked about this. There's a little bit of a yin yang here, and I think that energy and that that difference kind of brings out this really cool dynamic and has, some serious value to the people listening, which is why we're doing this, right?
Definitely.
So anyway, if you are listening to this podcast, welcome to the Focus Corner.
Hello.
Yes. But before we get into that, very cool news this weekend.
Big,
huge,
news.
Large, gigantornormous news.
This weekend we closed on a house.
Woo!
With the
Can
help
we get the
of
applause? Just really good effects.
There you go. With
huge.
the help of Tim, we got it done.
Yes. You had one of those transactions that is just a home run, right? I'm not talking about myself and the way I worked. I'm talking about how you were able to do what you wanted to do, and you put in the work and you got it done, right? So I guess what I wanted to ask you about that is because, before we get into things, obviously this is a real estate show for the most part. Not really though. It's like half real estate, half random crap.
Shout out to houses.
And shout out to houses, right? But this is something you'd wanted to do for a while. And we had talked about it, and honestly, we did not think it would happen this soon.
No, we just wanted to be ready for the moment and figured the opportunity would present itself.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it did really, really quickly. So that's cool.
It was crazy. It was. And so actually, can you tell me a little bit about you just kind of taking a jump there? Because logistically speaking, it was not the best time, right? Because you are in a lease, you're still living over at a different place. You were hoping to kind of wait until March, April to do this. Yet here we are in December. You offered in November, right?
Got it done.
What kind of went into that decision for you to just say, kind of bleep this out and go for it, right?
Just trusting the process really, and seeing what was in front of me and like a different way of looking at it. So instead of painting it as like a difficult puzzle to put together, kind of just seeing what's happening without too much effort and allowing as much as I could different factors to combine to help me, such as my parents' assistance and your assistance and the market's availability and everything. I would say the biggest factor is just opening up a little bit and not trying to be so controlling, and know the factors are going on, and be in control of each aspect of everything.
Sure.
Letting go of some of that made it happen almost immediately.
Sure.
But prior to that, I was really keen on having a lot of things meet my needs, a lot of different categories, a lot of different requirements, and it was prohibitive to finding something. So letting go of some of that stuff made stuff happen quick.
It was the let go and let God of real estate.
For real.
And honestly, that when you were able to kind of just relax, trust me to do my job, trust you and your family to figure things out, in a way that worked for you financially and logistically. That is when it so easily fell into place.
It just worked.
Right?
We knew we didn't have to force it. So I've struggled with that in the past of trying to command my life, and that's like a sort of a pitfall of the focus method, if you will. So if you plan on implementing some of the focus, the pitfall is the force that you have to use can be not the right thing to do at some times in some situations. There's a spirit of allowing that can be more powerful than any force that we have to use. And it's something I'm very new to, but it's a great example of how important it is.
Sure.
I allowed some of these factors to work and come into play, and boy, it worked.
Well, and that is tough because like what you're saying there, when you want to do something and when you are focused on something, it is so easy to try to control every single part of it.
Yeah.
It is so easy to say, this is what I'm doing, and I'm going to do it this way, this way, this way, and then get into it. And it's like, well, that's not exactly what we had planned, but we're going to allow that. To do that is difficult, right? So kudos to you for doing that. What was the hardest thing for you to deal with during the entire transaction?
Probably answering random phone calls, probably.
Sure.
You just get so used to how your life's run that doing something really new like this brings in a lot of new things like that. So I'm so used to my ways of just like Instagram and my people in my life contacting me how they contact me.
Sure.
That this like the real need of many others and their preferred ways of contact is like, oh my God, I got to actually answer phone calls.
100%.
I probably have to answer this.
Yeah.
And if it's a voicemail, I actually do have to call back. I got to like call
Listen
back.
and then call back.
And then you got to do what you agree on when you're calling. It's like, it's
some of accountability, really.
Yeah, the accountability.
Yeah. The accountability piece. But I saw you improve over the entire course of the transaction. Actually, I will say, I mean, from the beginning, from the get go, when Josh was like, "Okay, we got to get these documents," and it took a while to get the documents in. By the end, I would send you a document and it was signed within 5 minutes. It was awesome.
Yeah, well, I got to know you, especially Tim, and then Josh as well, and both of you guys are so nice to me.
Shout out Leonard Josh.
How could I not like show a little grace? Because I don't know, you become a lot closer to friends to me, to be honest. And I'm like, well, yeah, I know I'm just making them have a hassle if I don't. So let's like get this all taken care of.
Yeah, no, you killed it at the end. It was awesome, especially since there were some last minute things we were really trying to tie up, getting you some money from the sale because we were negotiating stuff like crazy.
Here, there, everywhere.
And we were touching all the points we could, and that required some extra, legwork on your end, and you really got to it. So, honestly, that was a piece that really helped us be successful. So, definitely probably the hard part, but you killed it at the end. What was the best part of the transaction for you? Most fulfilling, most rewarding?
Probably like yesterday. I finally got to go to Home Depot and like look and get a couple things. That was probably it, because it's so, I don't know. I was kind of stripped away a lot of the frill from it because I've just kind of like become a parent and learned a lot of the serious stuff. So I have fun in a lot of ways, but I now know how to do a lot of stuff without making it fun. So this was kind of a buckle down and, get this process done of home buying. But then I sort of put the fun on the back burner. But then yesterday I could kind of feel like, oh, it is like a fun new house. It's like a whole new house. It's going to be ours that we're going to love. But it's hard when the process is so intense. Yeah. I respect the process and I know how necessary a lot of the things are for everything to work all right. Yeah. So I'm respectful of the process, but it takes a lot of fun out of it to have to be in that mind state. So it's been nice to switch and be like, okay, we're kind of on the up now. Do fun stuff. Yeah, and that's what I tell folks is, this transaction is going to be, a hurdle. We're going to be hurdling things, right? Mm-hmm. We're not going to try to hurdle everything at once. We're going to take one hurdle at a time, and your job is to just kind of like manage the stress that you are going to be under, because it's a lie to say it's not a little bit stressful, right? Oh, for real. There's a little bit of stress that's going to go into it, right? Mm-hmm. But once you do get to that point, there's such a great reward at the end, which is being able to sit there and like do your happy dance in the house because it's yours, you know? Exactly.
Like we had a great time on Friday just going in and being like, this is the house and you own it and it's yours and we're going to do this, right? Buddy was throwing Iron Man all over the house. It was awesome.
Iron Man doing parkour everywhere.
Iron Man was doing parkour.
So for y'all who don't know, my son met Tim on Halloween when Tim was dressed as Iron Man. And it stuck in his mind forever. And now Iron Man is a thing. Tim's a thing. Tim as Iron Man is a thing. It's all like a big deal.
I think in his mind, I potentially may be Iron Man.
Low key.
Yeah.
It's pretty special. So then Tim got him an Iron Man toy.
Yeah.
We got a house.
So now there's that Iron Man. Yeah. And then there's Tim as Iron Man. And then there's real Iron Man. Yeah. There's a lot of Iron Man going on. But shout out Ben Jr.
Let's go.
Yeah, the man. He's going to tear up that house.
Oh, my God. Yeah. We got to build a mini ramp in that little cement area.
Yes.
For him to skateboard as like a 7-year-old, get out there and like kick flip and stuff.
That's a huge piece as well. Is like, this guy is probably young enough that he's probably not going to remember tons from the places you've rented, but this is going to be his childhood home. Yeah. Like this is the place his core memories are going to, he's going to lock those in at that house. Yeah. That's huge, man. Like, and that's his place to grow. Like that is super cool. So, awesome. Well, we've got some of the tough stuff, some of the rewarding stuff. Mm-hmm. Just like, I want you to be wholly and completely honest with this. What was the most difficult part, or if you had a piece of criticism for me?
I got
as
something.
An agent. All right.
I got something.
All right.
I don't even have to think about
He's
this.
been brewing it
I'm
up.
so ready to criticize Tim. No, you know what it is? It's funny because it's really minimal.
Yeah.
Is you talking on your AirPods? I could barely hear you. There's one point where you're definitely like talking on your AirPods or some form of like this or that or something.
Yes.
And I was like, you're killing me, Tim.
Okay.
You were monologuing for like 10 minutes and I was like, like I couldn't hear it, but I could hear it enough. But that, you were like in a conference room or something.
Yes.
And you were
I
like
know
walking.
exactly what you're talking about. Was it when I was in Michigan?
Oh, probably. Maybe.
I think it was when I was in
Maybe
Michigan.
It might have been earlier. I don't know.
It may have been when I was in Michigan the first time.
This could have happened
Because, yes, it could have happened multiple times.
I'm just going to just throw it out there. Throw it out there.
We're unpacking it right now. Dude, I love that. I appreciate the criticism. Because that is exactly, I mean, I'm glad it wasn't like, honestly, we hated that you were really unethical. You know?
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's why I'm willing to say it.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're great, dude. But
I love that because that is actually a tangible piece that I can absolutely use for future and that's super important because you're right. I can go on these like 10-minute monologues about like everything we're going to do, how we're going to do it, every single detail. I'm going to plan it out for you right then and there. and if you're like,
what you always got to remember too is that client on the end of the phone, their only option in their brain is to ask you anything that they like have questions on. So you can always pause and they'll ask if they need anything. Think about my parents. Are they going to hold anything back? Nope. They're going to ask everything.
Yes.
Yeah. But think about an older person in my position might have been like, what the heck is going on with this?
Right.
But I was like, I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're holding your phone somewhere. I do it all the time too. I try not to.
He's definitely talking on his AirPods. And probably like juggling over in the corner or something like that.
Millennial real estate problems.
Yes.
Scrolling TikTok with your feet. Come on, man. Come on now.
I promise you I was never on TikTok. Well, I will tell you one really funny story. When I very first started real estate, I had a mentor and the mentor would call me and he would talk to me forever. Like he would literally spend an hour on the phone with me and I would be sitting there playing Clash Royale while he was talking to me. And I was like, plays my Valkyrie. There's my skeleton army. I'm not kidding.
Amazing.
That was really bad.
Amazing.
But
so dope.
But yeah, no, I appreciate that. That is helpful. I can use that with me. And then I don't want to pat myself on the back. So stay away from that. But what was the best part of working with an agent? What made you feel the best about working with an agent?
The hometown feel. Honestly, it was so wholesome the way you treated the whole thing. You like showed up at times when we could tell you didn't have to, which meant a lot. It like felt really intentional and was a lot more like the real deal than just like being detached.
Yeah.
Like for instance, we were looking at flooring in town and I called Tim to ask him some random question. And he's like, oh, I'll be right there. This guy runs in the rain. Like, I'm not kidding. I'm not exaggerating. He actually runs in the rain down through the town to the place where I am.
It's about a quarter mile.
It was ridiculous. Right. So like, that's not like normal for you because you're a runner and it's like, yeah, I like that. But like, that's above and beyond, man. We appreciate it. And it actually changed the feel of it to like be awesome, I think.
Good. I'm glad. And I think that touches on a huge piece, just to remind myself and to remind anyone listening out there, that is what this is all about, right? Yeah. I don't want to sell you a house. Yeah. I don't want to like I haven't even, they send a commission check via email. I haven't even printed that out yet. That's not what it's about, you know? Yeah. It's about, it's about like Ben calling me and saying, we're looking at flooring colors, me being like, awesome. Yeah. I love flooring. Yeah. Let's look at the colors. Yeah. Like, and that's what it felt like. And that's not like, it's not like, okay, I'm going to go out of my way to impress them so that they think that I'm doing this to make it more, familial. Like, no, it's like, I'm genuinely like, you have to be genuinely excited for your clients.
I got the feeling that you would do it for anyone.
Yeah.
That was how it felt.
And that is another piece of it is like, you and I, we knew each other before this, but now I consider you a friend. Yeah. And I hope you consider me a friend.
Of course I do.
Yeah, thank you. And that's awesome. when you can take something that you do for your job and you're taking something that you're doing because it's like you want to set up your whole future, and some people can become friends over it. That is super fulfilling.
Super dope.
And I think that's my favorite part of working with clients. And as you said, it's like it was your favorite part of working with an agent.
Yeah.
So yeah, awesome. Well, I'm glad I'm really glad we got to do that. And yeah, thank you for trusting me.
Of course.
And it was just an absolute pleasure working with the entire family. Even though there were hurdles at some points, we got over those hurdles, and we love Alan and Deborah.
We love Alan and Deborah.
We do
love a good family dynamic.
Yes,
right?
we do. Yeah. All right. So wrapping up from the housing conversation, and glad to hear your perspective on things. Some really, really great stuff in there. We are, as we talked about, introducing the Focus Corner.
Let's go.
And what that is like we mentioned, Ben frames his life, and you frame the world in a way that is really insightful, and it's easy to see, but it's not always. It's not the way other people think. It's not the way other people focus on things.
It has some counterintuitive things. Yeah.
So anytime I bring Ben on the show, I want Ben to just share with you guys and myself, and we'll dive into it. What are you focused on? And that can be an idea. That can be something physical, like, oh, we're painting our house, like stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
It can be something concrete or non-concrete, but like, what is your focus right now at this point in your life?
My focus right now is not taking things too seriously. With everything feeling so serious and starting to do more and more big boy things. I mean, I've always been like taking care of bills and stuff, but buying a house is a whole different process that comes with even deeper kind of big boy things.
Yes.
So throughout doing all of that, it's easy to lose the spark and get too serious and like get bogged down in all the details of everything. And it can be really sneaky how it sneaks in. Like you won't necessarily notice it, but your creative outlet will start to get stagnant, or you'll start to kind of limit yourself in certain ways based on this experience you're having of everything being serious.
Yeah.
If you're not careful, that starts to carry over into like the creative process. And that's certainly it for me. I'll just like look around and be like, damn, I've been just like hard on myself for like a week, telling myself I have to do this certain thing or have to do it this way or something. Like, ease up. So more trying to start more days just with like ways zoomed out instead of feeling like I'm in the third quarter at 5 minutes and 49 seconds, like knowing where I am. Just like, chill, dude. It's a day. You're going to make something creative with art. It'll be probably patterned like your stuff. You probably it's going to be glass. You're probably going to engrave it. You're probably going to post it, and it's probably going to sell. Like it's just making things more simple has like changed my life for sure.
I love that. And I love that you said, like lately there's been some big boy things.
Yeah.
And it creeps in so unexpectedly.
Yeah, dude.
When I had the same exact experience when I bought my house in August.
Boom.
And I had stepped into some big boy things. I had just gotten a job as a realtor, not guaranteed income like yourself. You're having to work for your dimes, and buying a house. Now you got a mortgage, and I've got renters in there, and it's kind of stressful because it's like, gotta make all these kids like each other and pay their rent and all that good stuff. And I realized one day that the personality that I was taking on and the mindset that I had was kind of like a cloud over my life. Yeah. And I was like, why do I have this cloud over my life? I was happy.
Yeah.
And now I've done these things to better myself and push myself forward. But now I'm like, I'm the tight ass.
Yeah, I know, dude. Yeah, it creeps in quick. What happens is all these things make impressions on you. And if you don't really make light of them and really like observe them and see oh, this is what's really like going on in the big picture. If you don't do that in a real serious way, it just adds up so quick, and before you know it, you're acting out like the same patterns that you've experienced that you don't want.
Yeah,
just because you're used to it.
Yeah,
so wild.
It's crazy, and I think you can absolutely work hard and do your big boy things and get stuff done and be dedicated and focused while having that relaxed mindset.
Yep.
I think that's the biggest piece is there's not a reason to throw everything to the side and say, well, screw it. I'm just not going to take care of these responsibilities because I want to have fun. that's not the way to go. The way to go is to still do the things that you need to do, but have an outlook on it that's like, you know what? If I don't get this done, oh well, like, oh well. I thought to myself, like, worst case scenario, like all my renters moved out and I had to pinch pennies.
Yeah.
Oh well,
right. Like you would be alive.
I would be alive.
Would be okay.
The sun would shine. God would still love me, right? My girlfriend would still be there.
Yeah.
Please. Also, I'm just gonna do this right now. This is so funny. I've been vlogging my week this week because this is the proposal week. Well, right?
Put your vlog on, dude. Dog. Let's get it. Is it a mini reel vlog or is it like a?
In 3 days, you are going to be my fiance. I'm putting together a compilation of stuff because like I was driving like in the car, like on the way back from picking up the ring.
Yeah.
And I was like, Dre, the ring is in my closet in my house. I got my ring camera set up, like the ring camera that I bought for the house, so that if she walks in there, I'll know she walked in my closet. Oh, it's kind of creepy, but
dude, keep it like, you can also consider like too obvious, because the too obvious are sometimes the best hidden ones. Like for little hidden things, just somewhere that like it's not a hiding spot. It could be like the safest place. Yes. But you got this.
But
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm super excited. Dre, you're getting proposed to on Sunday. Ashley made the invitation that I'm going to present to her. It's like a wedding invitation that I'm going to give to her. We're going to throw a surprise party for you. And you have no idea. You literally have no idea. Most of your friends don't even know. But yeah, when you watch this, you will officially be my fiance.
That's awesome. Let's go.
This is so funny because I'm going to put it all together at the end and show her in a video. Awesome. And she's going to be like, oh my God, you idiot. So yeah, anyway, back to what I was saying. We got off topic, but that's what we do on the show.
Yes, we do.
And it's like all these things, you're so stressed about them. But honestly, if all went to hell, you know what? You're still alive. You're still breathing. You still have your family. Yeah. And so, it's not about throwing those things to the side and not taking care of them. No. It's about remembering that's not the end goal. That's not where you're trying to go. Those are just things that you have to do, and get them taken care of and have fun doing it. Right.
Mm-hmm. But as you climb the ladder, you'll encounter so many more serious people, just as I have. Mm-hmm. It's got to be like this across the world in all industries and all walks of life. Like as you become more successful, you encounter people who are, at least to some degree, like identified with their success in a way that they've worked really hard to get it, and they can't bear to think that someone could attain what they have with less hard work than them. Yeah. So they fight for this method of hard work. You'll see it everywhere. People will identify closely with like how hard their work is, because they're stuck with it, and they're like, there's no way I'm milking this. Right. This was hard. You're going to know it's hard. Right. This is hard. But you see people like that get swag surfed on all the time though. It's hard, dude. Like it can be hard. You can live like that. You can be like, everything is so hard. It's so hard.
My life is so difficult.
It's not going to stop people from swag surfing on you and coming in like younger than you, less stressed than you, more effortless than you.
And you're just going to compare yourself to them, and you're going to be miserable.
Right. But you got to take wisdom from those people instead of making ego of it and being like, well, they are just like lucky or whatever. You got to be like, no, like they're a little more unblocked. Like young people coming in tend to be like really unblocked. That's why so many of them are so successful. Let's say the music industry, wonderful artists all the time who are just like astounding and just like throwing themselves out there. Like, that definitely makes old heads mad who have worked so hard for things and like have stagnated. Like that's hard to see. But what you don't realize is like you never lose your attachment to that like wonder that those kind of people bring. Yeah. It's only a choice to like block it off or not use it. But like really that's the same. We can channel that childlike essence and like make anything happen like that at any time. It doesn't have to be serious.
I agree. And you can still, that's the thing, is you can still work hard and you can still have a hard life. Yeah. But if you frame it different, the way I do things is I know I work hard and I know that I'm in the trenches in my career right now. Yeah. Like I'm battling,
you're in the trench years.
The trench years.
You're a young man about to like, you got some years ahead of you.
I'm working and I'm working hard, right?
Yeah.
And for a moment there, I kind of had that like, gosh, this just sucks. I hate this, right?
Right.
But then I did shift the mentality right around that time where I started to think, why am I so serious about this? And it kind of brought up two things. Number one, gratitude. Being grateful, man. If things don't go your way, if things aren't exactly as you planned, if you're kind of taking some of the control out of it, like we talked about earlier, and things just don't go the way you had envisioned it, the best remediation for that is gratitude, because your whole mindset you'll be lifted. That weight that's just on your shoulders will be lifted, because you're like, you know what? I don't care that I didn't close that deal, or that, this client that I met with and spent an hour on Saturday with, this is real life story. I'm not just making this up. Told me at the end of the conversation that her mom is a realtor and that she was just here for me to get information. I was so mad. I was like, what is going on?
Amazing.
But afterwards I said to myself, actually, no, I'm grateful for that conversation, because I learned a lot in that conversation, right?
Yeah.
Reshifting it's shifting the paradigm, which I think is something you said in the last show, right?
Shifting the paradigm.
Yeah. It's huge.
Yeah.
And so number one, gratitude. And then number two, just embracing the fact that you are going through a tough time, or you are going through some hard work, right?
Yeah. One might also call it acceptance.
Yeah.
Acceptance and gratitude are absolute superpowers. And if I could choose to bolster any part of me, it would be pretty dope if I could like just run those numbers up, because that's like, if you can accept and be grateful, you basically just like save yourself, like, period. You can literally just like, you can save your happiness, save your stress. You can save yourself in almost any way you can imagine by accepting and just like being grateful for what you have.
I love that. It's absolutely acceptance.
Yep.
So that's so true. And when you do have gratitude and acceptance as kind of working together in that, what that will do is that will relax you and you'll stop trying to force it.
Yeah.
When you try to force it, it doesn't work. Sometimes I look at my business and I go, I'm trying too hard right now.
Same.
Not that I'm like, not that I'm putting in too much work. I am trying too hard to force pieces of my business to go where I want them to go.
Well, here's the other side of it. That is working too much, or that is too much work sometimes.
Sure.
It can be so easy to not see it, but like, sometimes you just gotta chill. Yeah.
Sometimes I need to stop forcing it.
Yeah, for real. But it's easier said than done. It's a thing you gotta practice and you gotta have perspective on. So the fact that you can, like, at your age already have some perspective on it is wonderful, and it'll set you up for success later. Like, it's taken me forever to learn these things. Yeah.
And I think you just kind of touched on something. You just said it right now. In my mind, it's tough for me to see that that it's possible for me to work too hard, right? Did you you kind of saw that in my brain?
Right.
Like,
you literally just did both. You had both sides. We just saw both sides of it. Like, too much work, not too much work.
Yeah.
It just fought right there.
Exactly.
I'll show you, right there.
It's so cool because like what we're talking about right now literally just played out in our heads in that conversation.
But
it's
you
crazy.
gotta zoom out. You gotta be the one who observes all of your drama in order to see that.
It is hard for me to frame it that way, because I think that I should just be working as hard as I can to get what I want, and it's like, boy, that's...
You are not your mind.
Yeah.
You are the one who controls your mind. Your mind is only a tool. If you let your mind run your life, you're bound to be up in a bad spot.
Amen.
So you're gonna make decisions based off ego and all of the drama that comes with having a brain. Like, you got to make decisions behind the mind and only use it for good. Yeah. It's like a wicked tool that can be used for good or evil. It's up to us to use it for good.
Amen. Kind of put a bow on this.
Yeah.
So because we've talked about the problem, we've talked about kind of how it feels, where we get where we are putting our energy when that happens. Let's talk a little bit about the solution real quick. What can you actively do?
Observe, but you got to start observing. Like, once you start observing, the pitfall is you're going to see it quickly in others. It's like the hardest part about a lot of this work, especially like people who you're close with. It's the easiest for you to see flaws in them. It's so easy. It's like incredibly easy. Like, all these people who we're close with, we know what their pitfalls are. You just know because you're around it and you're used to it. But it's making that switch of actually like accepting that is you too. that to them you have those pitfalls, and like really trying to like, what actually am I doing that's like annoying or the worst or making life harder? And it's like easier said than done. It's gonna usually be something super triggering because that's why they go unseen.
Right.
Like if it's something that you like don't mind, you're gonna take care of it. Usually these like huge pitfalls like contain some sketchy trauma that you've got to think about in order to like break the ice.
Sure.
And, like, get it to move.
Kind of maybe have to put things in reverse a little bit and see like, okay, where is this coming from?
Yeah, you got to be willing to see yourself as the bad guy, but know that like you can be the best guy ever, but you got to see yourself as the bad guy.
Right.
And it's usually the thing you don't want to hear that like you're holding on to so much, like core part of you. Like for me, one of the biggest ones is like forcefulness. So that was like, it took forever for me to get perspective on it because I just lived it. So when you're wearing the clothes fully and just living it, it's very hard to see these things for what they are because you're just so caught up in the experience of it.
Right.
You and your mind are like, you are your mind, and your mind just minds its way everywhere.
Sure.
You've got to like really pull back and try to look at like, what is going on? Like if I was someone else, what would the story be?
Yeah.
Like, you can kind of start to see it.
It's thinking about your thinking.
Yeah. It's thinking about your thinking. Maybe is at least observing it. Sure. And be like, wow, for no reason, like this person came in the door and I just felt wild feelings. Like just start to recognize that is your patterns. And then like that, you can start to build like actual knowledge about yourself instead of like mind knowledge. Like,
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's trippy.
It is trippy, but it's really the way we work.
Yeah. It's called shadow integration. Is like the whole psychological concept is that like our demons hide in what you'd call the shadows. These parts of yourself that you repress and push away and don't utilize or you like feel shame about. You end up closing off part of your brain that holds important energy. And until you integrate or accept these parts of your psyche that you like hate right now, you're always going to be at half capacity. Or like your best efforts only going to be half, or your best happiness is only going to be half until you like treat yourself as a whole machine where all the parts need to be taken care of.
Sure.
And not just a machine where some parts that you like can be taken care of.
I like that. It's like unlocking a huge portion of.
It's been like extremely meaningful for me to dive into shadow integration. It's something I found on my explore page of all things through a meme.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I found a shadow integration specialist. He's a dude probably 5 years older than me who's like deep into his personal growth journey through his mind and stuff. And like, has this wild past that he's managed to transmute in his brain and found peace with, absolute life chaos. And he's sort of like been through so much that he's gotten this perspective on like how you actually make peace with your head. Because if you don't, it's so crazy, but it can manifest in so many different ways. Like you can just be like a kind of annoying person, but like fully unchecked mental health issues, I personally am under the belief that it deteriorates into like actual health issues. Or
100%.
Even just crazier things.
100%. Yeah. I mean, your mental health is going to affect your physical health, is going to affect the relationships that you have around you. Yeah. So it starts with that piece, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you are kind of in a high pressure, high stress job, which anyone who generates their own income, it's going to have a little higher piece of stress because it's on you.
If not, like holler at me and tell me how you do it.
Yeah, right.
I'm down.
Right. So the first thing you have to take care of is your mind, because like you said, your mind can control you. And so if you let it get to a point where it's controlling you for evil, then you're in a dangerous spot. So I love that. That's a really interesting concept. Really interesting concept. What's the name of the guy that you have followed?
Operation Moksha.
Okay.
Operation _MOKSHA.
Interesting. Okay. I'll have to check that out. That's pretty cool.
It's gnarly. It's not just a quick one. It's like a life journey. But you like opening yourself up to the concept at a young age, it is like a long-term game plan thing. because what you agree to, if you want to integrate your shadows and kind of fix these imbalances, you are agreeing to a long journey of okaying yourself with pain that many people would say is like unnecessary. But when you can be present with it, you can like actually make something out of the pain instead of just feeling the pain.
Yeah.
Because
I like that. So I think so many people are suffering with that.
What's better than that? Like chances are all of us are going through some pain, right? So what if you could keep going through pain, but then squeeze value out of it?
Yeah.
Maybe not squeeze, but like get a lot of value out of it.
So many people are so unhappy.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably a huge piece of it, that there are things that they're not addressing in their own heads.
Yeah. And it's important to realize like we're not meant to be unhappy. You're not meant to be stressed. You're not meant to be sick. You're meant to be joyous. Yeah. So anything you can do to get back to there is your original state. Get there.
Integrate your shadows.
Gnarly.
Yes. Well, that was awesome. I think this is a killer. The killer focus corner. Holy crap. This is going to be an awesome segment on this show. And I'm really excited to have you on every month to talk about something crazy and wild.
Let's get it.
It's awesome. At first, like when I was listening to this, I was like, where's this going? You have hit a nail on the head, man. So I got chills. We're supposed to say that.
I got chills.
Yeah. All right. Well, that concludes things for today. That's a great way to end the this episode is going to kind of end the month for us.
Let's get it.
But Ben, thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you. Tim.
Thank you for sharing the stories of you purchasing a home and then sharing a little bit about what you're focusing on.
Thanks for the house.
Yeah, you got it, man. Anytime, free houses, come find me.
Let's go.
We will be back with another Focus Corner next month. I'll be excited to see what you have prepared for us, and
who knows?
I'm sure our listeners will be excited to see the clips we put on Instagram.
Let's go. Yep.
We'll have those out, and that will wrap things up. What's the number of the day?
9.
That's a great number. Boy, that hasn't been picked yet. My number is 49.
Oh, big number.
Because I love the San Francisco 49ers, and I'm headed up to Seattle to watch them take on the Seahawks.
Let's go.
It's going to be sick.
Aren't you going to be one of very few people? Like, aren't you going to be hounded?
I will be in a dangerous place.
Yeah, you got to like wear pads or something.
I will be with my friend who will protect me.
Okay, one friend? Okay, okay, have fun. Yeah,
Yeah, if I don't make it back, if I'm not on the podcast next month, you know what happened.
The last episode. Shout out.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you again so much for joining us for another episode of Tim Talks. If you are listening on Spotify or if you are watching on YouTube, you guys know the drill. Please feel free to go ahead and follow, like, share, comment, all of that good juju. Please throw it our way. And then if you are on Instagram or anywhere else that you are seeing this, follow, share, like it.
Run it up.
Mail it.
Run it up.
Do something with it, okay?
Send it to your friend. That's what makes posts go crazy, when you message them to your friends. Message them to 10 of your friends. Go.
Amen. All right. Thank you again so much. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, everyone. Ethan, God, family, my girlfriend who's going to be my fiance in a few days. We will see you next week. Ethan, roll that outro music.